Hi everybody. Depending on what niche and industry you're in, it absolutely makes a difference what type of video content you put out. We know by now that all video is not equal video. So today we're talking about how you can create video content if you are a business coach. Let's get into it. If you're new here, my name is Liz and I release videos every Tuesday teaching you how you can add video to your business. Make sure that you subscribe so that you never miss any of my future content. Now, business coaches have started to show up all over the internet on video, and rightly so. We know by now that video is actually the future of content marketing. I really believe this. All of the data shows that people far and wide love to consume video content. So of course it makes sense that business coaches and coaches of every industry are showing up on video. Now, one of the dangers of consuming so much video content is that after a while, it might feel difficult to actually come up with something new to say. So I often see new coaches struggling to come up with original content, or they say, Liz, I want to make videos, but I'm not really sure what to make them about. Now, let's be clear that if you are going to be using video content, the whole purpose of that is to shorten the gap between you and your audience. So if you're a business coach, there are certain things that you should keep in mind if you are creating video content. So let's jump right into it. Now, the first thing to keep in mind is that it's always a best practice to have both long-form video content and short-form video content. This ensures that you actually cover all of your bases and that you're found in search so that when people are trying to look up solutions for their pain points that they can find you through that long-form video content, and so that you can just get more visibility because short-form video content is often pushed out by every single platform so you can get in front of new audiences and just extend the reach of your brand. This is really why it's great to have both forms of content within your overall marketing strategy. However, if you are new to video, I certainly suggest that you start with whichever form of content is the easiest for you. Don't try to do everything right from the get-go. Develop some confidence in one of these two areas first. Build up your camera confidence in your technique, your camera presence. Make sure that you are always talking about things that are relevant to your audience, and then start embarking on the other form of video content. So some forms of long-form video content could be things like webinars, masterclasses, live streams, YouTube videos. These are the forms of video content that people can go to Google, type a couple words like keywords, and actually have your content come up. Not only that, but the beauty of long-form content is that it allows you as a business coach to discuss a topic at length. It's long-form content, which means not only are the keywords the long-tailed keywords, but you also have a chance to talk a little bit longer than you would with all of these shorter forms of content, like TikTok, Instagram Reels, Stories, all of those other forms. The beauty of being able to talk at length is that this is the perfect opportunity for you as a business coach to demonstrate your expertise, to show your relatability, to be able to build a connection, and also to allow your audience to trust what you are saying. It's impossible for anyone to talk at length about a topic that they don't actually know really well. So when you start developing long-form video content, that is when your audience can see that you actually know your topic really well, and they also get a really clear sense of what it would be like to be coached by you. So never forget about long-form content. Sometimes people who are new to video say, oh my gosh, there's no way that I could talk on video for 10 or 15 minutes. Absolutely, you can work your way up to that point where it starts to become a pleasure to talk at length to your audience. On the other hand, if you are starting out with short form content, or if you're already doing long form content and you want to add short form content, make sure that you keep in mind some of the general principles of short form content. That means you have to have a succinct message every time. Short form content sometimes can be a max of 90 seconds, sometimes as short as 10 seconds. So how much can you really say to your audience in 10 to 90 seconds? So you have to do a lot of planning so that you have a clear, crisp message that is engaging for your audience to watch. Don't forget that short form content is the type that actually gets pushed out a lot by every single algorithm. So it will end up in front of people who have never heard of your brand before. So make sure that just from that 10, 15, 20 seconds that they can get a sense of who you are as a business coach. These are great opportunities also to show the human side of you as a business owner. It doesn't all have to be professional discussion related topics. It can be something that's behind the scenes, you just talking to the camera about something that you're working on or sharing your opinion about things. But the key takeaway here is that you should always work towards a strategy that includes both of these forms of content. Now, as a business coach, no matter what form of video content you create, if you are putting your face on that video content, then you should have two goals behind that. One should be to inspire your audience to take some kind of action, and the other goal should be to plant some seeds. So what do we mean by all of this? Now, when your audience sees your video content as a business coach, you should be prompting them to think about what they can do next in their life. You should be giving them things to think about with regards to their present state and what their future state could be like. Your video content should allow them to envision what it would be like to work with you and also what their life would be like in the future state after having worked with you. That means all of the topics that you are picking should be things that allow them to do a little bit of future pacing. That means seeing ahead into the future and thinking and feeling like they are already there. So make sure that your content topics talk about all of their pain points and how they can be solved through the transformation that your program offers. Not only that, but you want to be planting seeds while you are creating video content. Don't just give out all of the answers to all of the universe's questions within your video content. Leave them some food for thought. Give them some new things to think about. They may be problem aware, meaning your audience might know that they have certain pain points and it's something that they need to get taken care of at some point. However, they may not at all be clear on all the potential solutions that are out there. So give them some ideas just to ponder over even when they've finished watching your video. Give them something to think about that allows them to come back later and continue learning. This is how sometimes we get onto this topic of polarizing content, meaning as an industry leader or as a leader in your niche, you can attempt to actually give out opinions that you believe in that might actually be quite polarizing, different from everyone else in the industry. I am sure that there are things about your program or service that you might do differently from everyone else in your industry or in your niche. So think about what those things are. Think about the ideas that you have about certain concepts within your niche that you don't actually agree with all the mainstream ideas there. And in fact, you have your own line of thinking. Be willing to share all of that stuff on video because this actually allows your audience to pick a side, frankly. This is something that we sometimes are worried to do as a new coach because we want to just include everybody. We want to work with everybody. We don't want to isolate a single person. That is one of the worst things that could happen. You want to invite and attract the people who actually subscribe to your line of thinking and are willing to think further about the way that you do things. There is no point having a service or a coaching business where everyone under the sun is in your audience and just hanging off of your words, because that means you will end up working with these people who aren't actually a great fit. This is what happens when you have business coaches that come on video and start agreeing with everything that everybody's saying. All of the common ideas that are already out there, these business coaches just start saying, yes, this is great and this is great and this is great too. Be willing to take a stance and to actually show your opinion on video. You will attract exactly the right type of audience that wants to work with you. Now we're interrupting this video so that I can remind you to subscribe to this channel. I think you should do that first. And if you want to get started with video sooner rather than later, make sure that you look for the free resource in the description below. Just click on the link and I will send you that right away. Now back to our video. Now let's talk for a minute about videos that are based upon how-to content. Now, in fact, I don't have anything against how-to content, but I honestly am not the biggest fan of it. I have some how-to content all over my Instagram and my YouTube as well, but I do discourage new coaches in particular from focusing solely on how-to content. This is a trap that many business coaches get into because there's a billion different how-to ideas that we could possibly talk about. How to create a document in Canva, how to format your C drive, how to use iMovie, any of these things. There's 1,000 different things that you could make how-to content on. There are two problems with how-to content that I've seen anyway. One is that it ends up establishing you more as a teacher, someone who's giving out tips and quick wins. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're a business coach. Being a teacher and being a coach are two totally different things. And you want your audience to envision you coaching them, moving them through a process, giving them guidance, helping them formulate their ideas, and then moving them to the next step. This is what the role of a coach is. On the other hand, if you prepare everything in a nice package and give it to them as how-to content, all of a sudden they cannot really envision you as a coach. You're more like someone who is just giving away free ideas and tips and tricks and hacks and all of those quick wins. Quick wins are never something that actually take people to a transformation. They just get person from A to B, whereas you as a coach are trying to get them from A to Z. This is why I warn business coaches around putting out too much how-to content. Once your audience starts expecting that, then they just get used to these quick wins. They never get used to seeing you speaking at length about any topic. Not only that, but if they start watching your video content with all this how-to content, they will try to look you up on other platforms. And if they see that you don't really provide that there, then all of a sudden that will be a mismatch altogether. So I suggest focusing on other topics that are related to the pain points of your audience so that you can actually talk and explain and discuss certain topics and explain to them about different ways of thinking of their pain point and also helping them to envision the future. How-to content is more black and white in nature. It's okay to throw in once in a while just as a helpful nature, but I definitely say that you should try to minimize doing that so that it doesn't become your go-to video content. Now, one critical thing for business coaches to keep in mind when they're creating video content is that your video content needs to be multidimensional. That means you should have video content on different platforms, in different formats, and showing different sides of you. That means showing your personal side as well as showing your professional side. Once you do this, you will have more of a holistic video strategy, which will take you miles as a coach. Remember that your audience who is looking to be coached on a topic where they are struggling, they need to actually be invested in you as a person. It is totally different from being a business owner who sells red tables or blue boxes. If you sell coaching or business coaching, that means the person who is watching you has to have 100% confidence that you are going to be that person that is going to help them to get from A to Z. Don't forget that they may have already hired other business coaches in the past and gotten burned. They may have lost money with other business coaches. Or they might have tried other coaches but just not been able to get through with their program and actually see results. So these people need to be invested in you. That means they have to find you relatable. They have to like the way that you explain things. They have to feel that confidence that you know what you're talking about and that you have social proof behind this. This is the reason that you want to show up in many, many different ways. They would want to see what you're like just as a person on the weekends out of your business. And they would like to see how you run your business. Are you professionally running your actual business? And can you do long form content on YouTube? Or can you do short form content on Instagram Reels? Or can you host a masterclass? What are all the different ways that you can show up? What are all the different ways that they can experience you? Not only that, but don't forget that when you show up in a few different places, you can access more of an audience. All of your followers might not all be active on Instagram. So what about the people there? If you've done your market research and you feel that you do have an audience that could be active on Instagram, then try to be there, as well as try to be in one other place where you think that your audience actually is. Don't ever guess about this. Make sure you do the actual research and ensure that they have told you which platforms they are hanging out in, and then try to show up there in different formats. Now, my last tip that I'll leave you with today as you are trying to think of what type of video content to release as a business coach is to always aim to start where your audience presently is. Although your video content absolutely should have optimism, future pacing, allow them to envision the future, it should have all of that there. But the content, the words that you use, the way that you explain the actual topic, that should meet them at the level where they presently are. Sometimes us as coaches, we get very optimistic about all of the things that we want to talk about and to teach our actual audience. And then we start talking about things that are way light years ahead of where our audience actually is. Not only do we lose them at that point because they don't have the foundational knowledge to understand what we're talking about, since we're talking about stuff over here when they are over here, but the other problem is that then they will feel completely disconnected from us and they will feel like we are actually serving some other type of audience and that we're not the perfect fit for them. Our video content, in fact, needs to be full of topics and keywords that reflect their present state. This is how we make them feel like we literally created a video just for them, and then they can't help but feel like we are the perfect coach for them as well. So if you like this video, I hope that you will give it a like and share it off with one of your friends. Make sure that you subscribe here because every single Tuesday, I bring you a new video where I teach you how to add video to your business. So until next time, take care.